What we're going to look at today is how to use our concrete details. We like to call it evidence, but how we're going to include that into our essay when we write it up. Because what we need to do is we need to include concrete details or evidence from our documents that we're working with to support what we are saying, but then we also need to insert our analysis, which describes the importance of those concrete details or evidence. I think what we originally were taught was let's make a generalized statement, something like this. Let me put this here for you. I'll give you an example. But here might be a generalized statement, okay, where I say, according to document 8, here's document 8, it states that, and then what I do is I go through my document and I find the most powerful or important piece of evidence or quote that I'd like to use to support whatever it is that I'm talking about. And so then I kind of make an announcement that, hey, I got this from document 8 and it states, and then here's what it states, right? And here's my quote. Even before her husband's death, the Academy was ridiculed because its calendar was prepared by a woman. And then what I'd have to do after that is I'd have to follow that up with my analysis. Okay? And my analysis then is where I'm talking about what what's the importance of this quote? How does this apply? And so I might have to then include something that looks much more similar to this. Men such as Johann Jablonski simply believe that women like Maria Winkelmann in the field bring shame to the sciences. Right? So I'm showing that here's what he has to say, and then I'm explaining what it is that he's saying. And so I have to add my analysis. The problem is I'm not really integrating my evidence with my analysis, and what I want to do is to integrate those two things. So I'm going to show you a different way where I start to integrate the analysis, what I have to say here, with the quote all into one sentence. It allows me to have deeper and more meaningful analysis, and it also flows much better. So let me show you this. Here would be an example of me beginning to integrate this information. Okay, and so then I have others such as Johann Jablonski simply believe that women like Maria Winkelmann in the field bring shame to the sciences as his, and then here's my quote. Okay, so I have my quote now, and what I've done though is I've taken my analysis and I've lumped it together with my quote and tried to craft one single sentence all together. Okay, and so what it does then is it allows me in one complete statement to integrate both my analysis and my evidence to support that. So I'm using or integrating the quotation in with my actual analysis. It makes the writing stronger. Now, this is one way of doing it, and this might be a basic example of it. So let me show you one further example that may do even a better job of integrating it. Okay? And so what we'll do here is I'm going to take my same information, my same analysis, my same basic quotes, but I'm not going to use just a whole chunk of the line. I might break that chunk up and just pull the more important parts, but then weave it into my analysis by parts. So you can see here Johann Jablonski is furious that his academy was ridiculed and blamed Maria Winkelmann for bringing shame to him and his colleagues because his calendar was prepared by a woman. And so I've taken this and I've basically broken it up into different parts, or I could have pulled different things from here, but I've weaved it even further into my analysis. So I'm talking about how he's furious. I'm giving that take on it, how he's blaming Winkelmann for bringing shame onto him and his colleagues, and then I'm weaving in the words and information from here. It allows me to be much more analytical. It allows me to integrate a little bit better and have things flow more. And that's really where I want to head with this. It just allows it to be a much stronger statement and sentence when I integrate this way. So once again, we want to integrate our evidence by pulling the most important pieces, but we want to avoid where we just kind of lump it in and tell us, hey, this comes from this document, and then we have to follow it up with our analysis. It's kind of the old way of doing it. This would be a basic way where I have included my analysis here, but I've also just kind of lumped it in at the end. It works, but it's maybe not the strongest way. And then a much stronger way of doing it would be to weave it into different parts of my analysis, but it lets me to explain my analysis a little bit better and go a little bit deeper in the thought process there.